Chapter 5. The Night the Storm Broke. The storm broke like a curse unleashed. Thunder ripped open the sky above Blackwood Manor, shaking its ancient stones, rattling windows, tearing through the night with violent intent. Rain followed in savage sheets, soaking the moor until earth and sky became indistinguishable. Eliza stood in her chamber, candle guttering in her hand, cloak pulled tight around her shoulders. Her heart pounded, not with fear alone, but with certainty. Tonight. The manor was restless. Doors slammed somewhere below. Voices rose, sharp and urgent. Guards moved through the halls, boots striking stone in hurried patterns. The storm had given her what nothing else could. Cover. Eliza opened her door. The corridor was chaos, shadows leaping as lightning flashed, revealing fragments of the prison she had memorized too well. The portraits watched as she passed, faces caught forever between fear and silence. She did not bow her head. "I will not join you," she whispered as thunder swallowed her words. She reached the servants' passage just as a gust of wind blew out the nearest candles. Darkness surged forward, greedy and thick. Then, voices. "Search the west wing! She cannot have gone far!" Eliza ran. Bare feet slapped against stone as she tore down the passage and through the back door, wrenching it open just as the storm hurled itself at her. Rain struck her like blows. The moor stretched before her, black, endless, merciless. Behind her, the manor roared with life. "Eliza!" Lord Reginald Blackwood's voice cut through the storm, sharp and furious. Something cold slid down her spine. She ran. The moor fought her at every step. Mud dragged at her feet, sucking her down, stealing her strength. Wind shoved against her body, tearing at her cloak, heavy now with rain, dragging her backward as if the house itself were reaching for her. Behind her, hooves, 6 of them. Lantern light flared in the distance, bobbing violently as riders surged out from the manor gates. Horses snorted and reared against the storm, their riders shouting orders over the thunder. "After her! Bring her back, alive!" Metal glinted in the lightning. Guns, knives, the dull promise of capture. Eliza's breath hitched in terror. They were gaining. She veered sharply, plunging into the woods. Branches lashed her face. Thorns tore at her skin. The forest swallowed her instantly, rain hammering the leaves above, turning the ground into a treacherous maze of roots and mud. The cloak became unbearable, heavy, soaked, dragging her down. She knew what she had to do. With shaking hands, she tore it from her shoulders and flung it aside, watching it disappear into the darkness like a shed skin. The cold struck her instantly. She was left in her nightgown, thin, white, already soaked through, clinging to her body as rain plastered it against her skin. The fabric grew heavy, sleeves catching on branches, slowing her down. A thorned limb ripped at her arm. The sleeve tore clean away. She cried out, but did not stop. Pain meant nothing now. Behind her, the lanterns split, spreading through the trees as the men fanned out, shouting to one another, horses crashing through undergrowth where they could, dismounting where they could not. Gunshots cracked through the storm. Wood splintered inches from her head. Eliza ran blindly, lungs burning, heart pounding so violently she thought it might tear itself free. "Please," she begged silently. "Please." She did not know how long she ran. Only that eventually, the shouts faded. The lanterns vanished. The forest fell eerily quiet, save for the storm and her own ragged breathing. She stumbled to a stop, collapsing against a tree, chest heaving, tears mixing with rain on her face. She listened. Nothing. No voices, no hooves, no lantern light. She had lost them. Relief flooded her, brief, dizzying. Then, a sound, low, close, a growl. Eliza froze. From between the trees, a shape emerged. A wolf, large, silent, rain-slicked fur glistening in the lightning. Its eyes caught the faint light, unblinking, unreadable. Eliza's breath caught painfully in her throat. She did not run. She could not. They stared at one another, storm raging around them. Both creatures hunted in their own way. The wolf stepped closer. Her legs trembled. Then it stopped. It tilted its head, studying her. Not with hunger, but with something else. Recognition. Understanding. After a long, terrible moment, it turned away, melting back into the trees, as silently as it had appeared. Eliza collapsed to her knees, sobbing now, hands shaking uncontrollably. She forced herself up. She could not stop. Not now. She stumbled forward until the forest began to thin. The rain eased slightly. The trees parted, and there, a clearing. Beyond it, rising from the dark like a vision born of desperation, a castle, stone towers lit faintly from within, windows glowing warm against the storm-dark sky, solid, real. Hope struck her so suddenly it hurt. Eliza ran. Her legs screamed in protest, body failing, vision blurring as she crossed the open ground toward the massive doors. Rain soaked her hair, her torn nightgown clinging to her like a second skin. She reached the doors and pounded on them weakly. "Please," she whispered, voice breaking. "Please." The world tilted, the storm roared, and everything went black. The doors opened. A man stood there, tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair plastered by rain, eyes sharp with concern rather than cruelty. He took in the sight before him in a single breath, the torn gown, the bruises, the bloodied feet, the unconscious woman at his threshold. Without hesitation, he lifted her into his arms. "Get the fire stoked," he ordered quietly, already turning back into the warmth of the castle. "And send for help." As the doors closed behind them, the storm raged on outside. But Eliza was no longer alone. She had escaped Blackwood Manor. But freedom has a price, and Lord Blackwood would not stop hunting what he believed was his.